I'm talking today with one of our participants from the Orange Vibe Jam, and he is one of the first. He's actually the first person to submit to the Vibe Jam. To have it on good authority that you'll be receiving an email soon for being one of the first 50. You'll be able to claim your $50 in Orange very soon. So let's just start with some background.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so thanks for the introduction. For those of you who don't know me, I go by a few different names. I've got Gary as my official name, my human name, but I've got REKT as my alter ego, if you like, and I'm a community member with Orange Web3. I'm a complete beginner in this space, but I'm, as I say, Orange Web3 community member, founder of Moontown, and my day job is actually a serviceman. I'm in the military. It means that I've got a fair bit of time to be able to play around with this stuff, which has now become a passion of mine. It's become a hobby of mine. I fell in love with the idea of metaverse and virtual worlds after watching Ready Player One, I think it was when it first all clicked in. And yeah, learned about vibe coding very recently via the Orange community. And yeah, this whole idea or journey rather from text to end application just blows my mind. So yeah, really pleased to be here today with you.
Yeah, excellent. Why don't we start with what you're building and then go into how you accomplish that?
Yeah. So in terms of what I'm building, I'm, as I say, founder of Moontown, which is a huge, well, I say huge project. In my head, it's a huge project. At the moment, it's really in its infant stages. And part of that is using Orange Worlds, which is an immersive environment in a kind of virtual reality space, and really playing on the passions that I have in reality, EDM music, comic illustration, obviously Web3, combining all of that with some of the little quirks that I'd got going on in my head, such as custom gaming, such as toilet games and that kind of thing. I really see the space needing to be more than just a world that you walk into, right? You don't just walk into a bar and not have anything else around or the surroundings. It's about playing a game of pool, maybe going in the corner and playing on a quiz machine or that sort of thing. It got me into thinking about gamifying the spaces. And at that time of thinking about it, vibe coding came along, took an interest in it, saw the Orange Vibe Jam and thought, why not give it a go? So I'd coded myself a little bunker defense game. I've got one of my spaces is Trenches, a World War II style immersive experience. And you actually walk up to the poster that says coming soon Trenches, and it's a meme coin defense game where you actually shoot the approaching meme coins. So I've submitted that into the Orange Vibe Jam, and as you say, it's the first entry, one of many, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's excellent. And I found it really interesting. There's some people on the Orange Discord who are asking, where do I start? I want to build something, but I don't really have an idea. And I thought your approach was really interesting. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I first discovered ChatGPT. It's become a household name now, but ChatGPT has also become my best friend. It seems to be the more knowledge. So I knew that I was building in spaces and I wanted to see the best way to be able to gamify the spaces. And I'd say throw a list of 20 ideas at me, and it would literally come back with 20 ideas. I'd say pick the one that would be easiest to maybe vibe code in an application called REKT, which is the one that I've chosen to use for entry, and also the most enjoyable. So we reordered that list into ones that, yeah, would be easier to build. Looked down the one that I thought would really fit my brief and would be enjoyable to build, came across meme coin bunker defense. And then I could isolate that prompt and then really say, okay, let's use that and go again. Like, how would I build this out? Give me 20 ideas to build this out. What can I change? What are the kind of the main sticking points? What issues could I likely face? How can I get people to come back and play it again? And it would just gradually build on this, what was an idea, into what is now submitted full on to the game with scope to turn it into 3D and build out into bigger and better things. So yeah, to anyone who is thinking about starting this, seeing these end applications and thinking that's way beyond my skill set. Believe me, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And starting off at ChatGPT, which is obviously free, is a really great place to start. Especially good.
Yeah, very cool. Did you give it certain parameters or themes to work with?
The spaces that I'm building in VR, I've got a nightclub space and a World War II style trenches. It's actually called trenches. That was really the only kind of parameter. I had a list of different games that I could have created. I mentioned earlier about toilet games. That was something that it would throw back at me from the bunker itself. But yeah, it's if you go in there with a really open mind and say, maybe give it a couple of really broad ideas or funny ideas, so it gets the tone in what you're trying to achieve, then it would come back with some really weird and wacky things. So yeah, other than I'm building this space or I've built this space in a virtual reality, not really, but it makes sense. One of the areas is an actual bunker within trenches. So the idea being it's a machine gun nest. So it makes sense for me to use that as a base to fire on enemy, in this case, meme coins.
Well, what I found interesting about your game is, unlike a lot of other submissions, you had custom graphics in your game. Like I've my own projects in Replit have whatever Replit suggests, which are lame. How did you get the meme coins in there?
So the initial idea was always to fire on meme coins, and it came back with these really bad, what looked like a coin, I think maybe a little panda, like a default image of a panda that it might have had stored somewhere. And I actually literally asked Replit the question, how can I get to customize the enemy? And it basically said to find an image, save it as a PNG, and then drag it into the folder hierarchy. And I thought, what's the worst that can happen? So I did that. I think I had to label it, the names that it asked me to label, because I was replacing ones that it had already programmed in. And then, yeah, it built it for me. It said, I need you to test it. I tested it. And then before I knew it, Shiba Inu was coming down as an enemy, and Floki and Brett as well, who's the base network's #1 meme coin. And I thought I'll play around this even more. I'll get my favorite influencer involved, Crypto Stash, use his profile picture and have that as the boss, if you like. So now, you hit level 5 and you've got Crypto Stash coming down and firing waves of red diamond-shaped bullets. But it really got me thinking that this space is customizable. It's not just a rubbish 2D game. Pat yourself on the back and say, I've just made this. It opens up all of these doors to really bring in other projects and, yeah, customize it.
And then I saw on your Twitter feed that you actually generated some interest from users who wanted to put in their own token.
Yeah, I don't know where it's come from. I did make a bit of noise about it when I put it out there because I wanted to see what interest there was around the game, and I had a fair few comments on it. A fair few people saying that's really cool. I like this element about it. And there was someone that was saying, I think they're setting up. They played the game, and I knew they played it because you could only get certain. The message read that the speed of the game, and you would only be able to tell that if you played the game itself. So they played the game, and they wanted to turn it into a 3D offering, and yeah, take me on this journey of developing it even further. It doesn't just stop here. So this really is the start for me. This is taking this game, which has started as an idea in ChatGPT, all the way through to an end product. But that in itself has now brought in a new crowd of people that want to help me take that to another level, which is really cool.
Yeah, definitely. When you get that kind of interest of people wanting to contribute to what you've built, that's got to be a really cool feeling.
It's all happened really quickly, and it goes back into that customization side of it as well. What starts as playing, it could even be that someone from the Brat community or Stash community or someone's played it and they just so happen to be in with the vibe coding crowd as well. Yeah, it's really cool.
Let me just ask about one aspect of your game. I saw you have power-ups. Was that included in the original prompt, or is that something that came up during development?
No, all development. As I said, when I originally built the game, I wanted to push a massive prompt into Replit and say, build this game. I overestimated its capability. It's amazing, but it's not quite at the stage where I can just throw my thought into it and say, build this and be happy with it as an end result. So I went back to basics, and I had the kind of gaming mechanic that I was really pleased with, which was, here's a bunker. And I use that term loosely. It was basically a grey rectangle. I want enemy approaching the bunker, and then me to have the ability for a single shot to shoot the enemy. And then I really built on that. So the idea of having power-ups and then a boss level and changing the speed of the approaching enemy waves. I've even managed to build in like sticking points for the enemy. So as though they're not wounded on the ground, but they're just being held back with different power-ups, as you say. You can freeze it and make sure that you get rid of all of the enemy. I'm kind of, it's about just building on it and then start looking at the user interface and turning the rectangle, the grey boring rectangle, into more of a bunker and World War II setting. And then before you know it, you've got a pretty decent customizable application.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there any part during the process of prompting and building that surprised you? Was there any suggestion from, you used Replit, yeah?
Yeah, you tried it, yeah.
Was there any part within that process that surprised you?
Apart from the fact that it's really easy to use, that's the bit that surprised me. I know there's going to be supposed to be a negative answer here, but no, the fact that it's easy and I could throw in words and ideas into Replit and it would turn it into a language that it understood, throw a kind of working template at me, say, do you like this? What can I change about this? And that in itself triggered my creative energy to then throw back into Replit. So just the ease of use and how enjoyable it is. I actually really enjoyed creating it. You wouldn't get to the end product if you didn't enjoy making it as well. And you've got to enjoy it, right? You've got to enjoy it. If we're going to create this sort of stuff, we may as well enjoy doing it.
Yeah. One of the other things I see happening on the Discord is there's a people start on the free tiers of these tools, and then they hit that paywall. What incentivized you to actually continue on with a subscription?
It's a good question. I think there's more than one answer, actually. As you say, a lot of these AI applications, you get the free trial periods. I think for Replit, it's 10 checkpoints. You can do a lot in 10 checkpoints, but are you going to be happy with the polished version? Probably not. So then at that point, you're at a crossroads. You either say, no, I'm done with this. I enjoyed it. I've tried it, but it's not for me. Or you say, I'm going to subscribe. You hunt around for a cheap code, or you ask around for a cheap code, which is what I did. Managed to get 60% off. And that brought the first month payment down to about $15. You mentioned at the very start, if you're amongst the first 50 in the Orange Vibe Jam, then you get $50 worth of Orange token anyway. So I thought, I'm paying $15 to get 50 back. That was one reason. And the second reason, because it's enjoyable. I absolutely love doing it. So much so that I've now taken on another game to put in Bunker, and another toilet game as well to put in the toilets of Bunker. I want to gamify all of the areas. So yeah, worth it. Absolutely well worth it.
It's interesting, you coming from a non-tech background and really embracing not just vibe coding, but building in Orange worlds as well, combining these things.
You say it's not AI. You're right. In terms of the tech, it's not. It's building itself. But the idea is you can play around with AI and ChatGPT and the flow as well. If you've got some ideas, how can I go from one place through to another and make it make sense? If you're just building an individual room, for example, then yeah, it's a link. You go to the room, have fun, chill out, do whatever you want to do, and then back. But I think what we're building at Moontown is like an ecosystem, almost like a world. It's Moontown, right? So you go from one area to the next via these links, and you end up walking through and meandering through these different virtual spaces. Yes, a lot of that is my creative energy, but also a lot of it is back testing it via applications, AI applications, images created by AI. Yeah, it's, as I say, it's a really big contributor to it.
Yeah, but it's like you've been prolific in building, which has been really cool for us who is providing the tech. So we'll have to see you continue to build and embrace new technologies and then integrate them together.
I should be the one thanking you. It's, as I say, it's enjoyable. It's fun. It's really fun. It's really, everyone's a creator. If you go down the beach and you see someone with an easel and they're painting, they're not just doing that to make money. They're doing it to be a creator, to bring out their inner thoughts. So yeah, this will turn into some sort of art form, I guess. You're already starting to see it, aren't you, with like prompt engineering and stuff like that?
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about one of the requirements of the Orange Vibe Jam is to integrate the Orange ID. How did you find that process?
Yeah, initially I got the wrong code. I think because I was the first one to submit, I think I managed to find the original setup, which turned out to be in development. So I got to the end of that, found an error code. I asked the team within Discord and basically used the newer version, the developed version, alongside a video that I believe you created or someone from the team had created. And it was a 4 or 5 step process of how to integrate Orange ID. Again, quite daunting, something I've never done, certainly playing around with the code and script and whatever, but it's literally it's a drag and drop. It's a 4-step process, and the 5th being confirmation that it works. And it's all out there. And that's, as I say, that it's a requirement to submit a project, but it's certainly shouldn't be the difference between submitting one and not. It's very easy. And if anyone needs help with that, then obviously just ask in the chats. There's enough of us now who have submitted projects to be able to talk through that if needed. So it certainly shouldn't be a sticking point.
And you did the NPM integration. Yeah.
Yeah. Literally followed the video word for word.
So I did that video after wanting to explain this process to other people. And it was my first time as well. And it's really just cut and paste and instruct the agent to do this, right? But for anyone having trouble, definitely check out the Orange Discord. There are plenty of people that will be able to help you. For those guys who are on the fence that have seen all this news about vibe coding, interested, but don't really know where to start, like, what would you suggest for those guys?
If you're interested, what's the worst that can happen? If you're interested, then that's your first step, isn't it? Get yourself into ChatGPT, find out how you can create even a simple game, put it into the Vibe Jam. As I say, get your money back if you do decide to go down the subscription route. This is cutting edge. To me, this is cutting edge tech, right? I'm a military guy. We always think we're playing around with cutting edge tech, but we're not. We can't afford to because it has to be tested and proven over time. Whereas this has just come out of nowhere. So if you want a skill for the future, a future where robots are taking over and quite literally taking our jobs, then I think this is just an absolute no-brainer. An absolute no-brainer. And it doesn't even have to be vibe coding. It can be anything to do with AI, because anything can be created now using a text prompt, time, and an imagination. And that literally is. Give it a go. Give it a go. Why not? Don't ask yourself, why should I? Ask yourself, why shouldn't I?
That's a great answer. And just to close this out, got 2 questions for you. If your app had a tagline, what would it be?
I was thinking about this actually. It would be kill the mean dream. Kill the mean dream. I don't know if I said earlier, but the idea behind the game was to really kill off these pointless meme coins that just come out of nowhere and caused a massive problem throughout the scene. They're drawing liquidity from legitimate projects, and I hate the idea that anyone can now create a meme token, pump it to infinity with 100x leverage on, in turn boosting the volume, which just creates this snowballing effect. And obviously that liquidity gets drawn out of legitimate projects. So I've just really wanted to kill that off. But I was thinking about it. The irony of that is that the game ends with the meme tokens actually
Right.
coming over the bunker and
Right.
yeah, I guess that's karma. But yeah,
Interesting. And then lastly, like, well, what does vibe coding mean to you?
it's undoubtedly the future. It's the now. It's not even the future, it's the now. What it means that everybody has the ability to turn their thoughts into an application
Right.
with time, imagination, and access to these fantastic tools. That's what it means. Look at what's been submitted. Even I'm massively impressed with some of the conversations that's been going on, has been over my head. But something as simple as a game, integrate that into a virtual space, and you've built your own world.
Yeah.
It's just it's mind-blowing stuff, and it evolves quicker than I can imagine it to go. So just get involved, and it's so easy.
Yeah.
So easy.
Very cool. Thank you so much for speaking with me again.
Good luck with anyone who is thinking about it, who is sat on the fence. Give it a go. Honestly, yeah, I've said enough.
Yeah.
Good.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Thanks a lot. See you guys.